Welcome to FFT Championship Prime Time, your Week 15 report. What an exciting week in the semifinals of the divisional round of the playoffs. I want to get you updated on some of that action. We'll look ahead to these divisional title games coming up in Week 16. Remember, in our playoffs, 6 teams from each division made the playoffs. Week 14, we had a wild card round with the third through the sixth seeds playing off. This week, we had the semifinals go on. Week 16 will be our divisional Super Bowl. And in Week 17, we're going to have a massive free-for-all to determine the overall champion. Remember, if you are looking for the playoff bracket in your individual league, you go to standings, you drop down to playoff race, and then you'll see a fancy bracket that looks like this. If you'll notice, somebody was lucky enough to upset the top team in the entire league. That's right, Lino did not have his best day. Put up his lowest score of the year. Wasn't as much about me as it was about him because I only rolled out 120, but I was able to upset the number one overall team. I'm moving on to face the number 2 seed in our division, and we're going to play for the divisional title in the Marino division. Now, looking at your top scoring teams of the week, we're going to start with Page, who was a number 1 seed out of the Brown division. Chose a good week to drop 195.82 points. Had Christian McCaffrey on this team, as you might see that name again as we go through these slides. She, third highest score of the week as the number 1 seed. She moves on to the big game. Nicholas, in the Manning division, a number 5 seed, moves on as well. He posts 202.38 and doesn't actually have one of the 40-point scores on his team. His high score is Brock Purdy, but this team is loaded with strong scoring teams. Dolphins defense in here, Jalen Waddle in here, all my beloved Dolphins doing their job for Nicholas as he upsets a number 1 seed and moves on. And then finally, Brian and Leanne Smith, I highlighted this story 2 weeks ago, got into the playoffs at the last minute of the final Monday night game of the week. Man, but look at this. Drops 210 and moves on to the divisional championship game, the divisional Super Bowl, with this effort here led by Jared Goff and Christian McCaffrey. And look, a Dolphins defense over here too. Actually had a kicker at negative points on this squad. So this team, after their miracle entry into the playoffs, is now moving on as a 5 seed to the divisional finals there. Let's look at a few close games. We had a few upsets of number 1 seeds. I want to highlight a few of them right here. Number 5, Chris beat number 1 Kenny out in the Smith division. This was less than 2-point spread here in this one. Very tight battle to move on. And as always, you can look at these games. As someone who has Breece Hall on a lot of teams, who actually lost 2 different teams with Breece Hall on them, gosh, how disappointing, right? Kenny, if Breece Hall just gets 20 more yards, like he had 12 yards, it means get 20 more yards, like Kenny's moving on in this game. Miles Sanders, 3.3. Yuck, thanks for nothing. You're going to see a lot of this as we go through this. Look at this one. Number 4, Ryan, able to upset number 1 Nick in the Dickerson division. This game is a 1.5-point spread here. We literally have a 0 from Nick. For Khalil Shakur. We have 1.7 from Flowers. We have 1 from Young Wei Koo. We have 1 from the Cowboys defense. Nick, one of the strongest teams in the league this year, falls down because he lays his guys don't do anything in the week when it matters most. It is the most frustrating part about fantasy football, but the head-to-head nature is also one of the most exhilarating parts of fantasy football as well. Finally, let's go to the Lombardi division. Number 4, Nicholas upsetting number 1, Matthew. Look at the difference here. This one is about a 0.4-point difference. That is not much. Tell you how close that is. We just take away the negative score that Matthew's got from Donta Foreman. If he gains 0 yards, if he goes nowhere in the game, Matthew is moving on. But instead, he chose to go backwards 6 yards. Fun times. Matthew is going home thanks to simple plays like those negative 6 yards that Donta Foreman gained. So another one bites the dust. Let's look at a few facts from the week. Your number 1 seeds, there were 22 number 1 seeds. They were 500 for the week. 11 won and 11 lost. One of the losers, our 2022 champion, Matt Corrado. Matt put together a terrific season to back up his victory last year. The first time that a returning champion has put together a successful season. The first 2 champions, David and Benji, really struggled in their defending season. Matt did not. Matt was a top 11, I believe the number 11 overall team heading to the playoffs. Out. Gets bounced in the first round. We had 3 divisions where the 2 teams on by, the ones in the 2 seeds, neither of them advanced. They both lost. The Moss division, Unitas division, White division, those 3 divisions. We had 5 divisions where both the number 1 and the number 2 seeds advanced and will play each other this week in the Super Bowl. Munoz, Peyton, Shula, Staubach, Taylor. Those 5 divisions will see the 1 and 2 seed go at it here for your divisional Super Bowl. Now, let's look at your best ball update real quick. Your high score of the week goes to the J-Dog House, 187 out of Division 15. Timothy Gress in the top division, a 179 score, and Matt Russell out of Division 8, a 167, your top 3 scores. Kevin Bainbridge jumps back into the lead, a strong 161-point week to hop back over into the lead. Josh was actually in the lead, drops all the way down to 4th with just 113-point output this week. But look, those top 4 teams are really close. Big week either way can decide this thing. Kevin, Tyler, Jack, and Josh, your winner is likely one of those 4 teams. The 5th place team, Matthew, 2131 points. That's a lot to make up over 2 weeks. I'm not saying it can't be done, but we're looking at a lot to make up there. So your winner is likely one of those top 4 teams right there. So that is all I have for you this week. Those of you that are still left playing for those Super Bowls, like this handsome guy right here, I wish you luck. I wish you success in those games. And if you're not playing in this league but still have teams going in other leagues, I wish you success in those leagues too. Have a great week. I'll check back in with you hopefully next week to get you ready for this free-for-all in Week 17 with 22 divisional champions. Go get those wins, my friends.